Hi guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, I have a super fun video planned today. Today, I'm going to be doing my top 2 and my bottom 2 products from some of my favorite brands. So I have done this before. The first time I did this, I did collaborate with my friend Mel Thompson, and we are going to be collaborating again on part 2 of this top 2, bottom 2 type series. She is one of my really good friends here on YouTube. I love her so much, and she is just one of the kindest souls ever. She's also incredibly talented with makeup. She's great at doing eye looks and reviewing things, and she's mostly in the high-end category as well. So definitely go ahead and check out her video after this. I'm excited to see what brands she talked about in her video because we never discussed which brands we were talking about. So I have 10 here, and this is not going to be any of the other brands, obviously, from the first part. So I will link that first part in the description box as well as Mel's channel. And without further ado, let's get on to my top 2, bottom 2 from some of my favorite brands. First, I want to start really strong and start off with TATCHA. So TATCHA is a beautiful skincare brand, and I actually have my first favorite here that I feel like all of you guys would love so much. It is still in my collection because I'm using this down ever so slowly. This is the TATCHA Violet C Radiance Mask. This is going to be number 1 of like the top 2 for this brand for me. This just gives you such a great glow after you put it on your face. It's gentle, it's a beautiful like violet purple, and it smells really nice and natural too. So this is the mask here. It's so nice, and I know that a little goes a long way with this, so I just kind of tackle this whenever I want like a really nice, you know, spa day at home kind of thing. It is so nice. The next thing from them that I absolutely love, I'm actually out of currently, so I can't show you what it is, but it is the Deep Cleanse from TATCHA. So when I looked at their entire skincare range, it was very difficult to pick 2, but these 2 to me stand out, and it's just because of how they react with my skin. So of course the mask is gorgeous, but the Deep Cleanse is a beautiful exfoliating wash that just has the perfect amount of exfoliants. It's really beautiful. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. Definitely one of my top exfoliants of all time as well because it's not super scratchy, but it definitely gets the job done. Now let's get on to the bottom 2 from this brand, and I was racking my brain as to the bottom 2 products from this line because there's so many of them that have been such winners. So there is one that came to mind right away, and that is the TATCHA Luminous Dewy Skin Mask. So different than the mist, this is a mask that has the serum of that mist concentrated into a sheet mask, and in all honesty, I only don't like it because of my skin type. I do think if you have dry skin, you will have a much better chance at loving this, but to me, when I put it on my face, I just felt like it was too much luminosity. It honestly just made me look like a greasy mess, so I love the skin mist because I can actually control how much dewiness comes on like through the sprayer, but the mask is just way too concentrated for me. So that is just one of the bottom 2 products from TATCHA. Now, when I was thinking of a second one, I literally drew a blank. Like, I don't have any other ones that haven't been great winners for me. Like, they're not absolute favorites necessarily, but they've all worked out pretty well. So I'm gonna leave it there as just one bottom product, even though technically it's 2. So Mel, I'm sorry, but I don't know if I'm gonna follow the rules this time. Next, let's talk about another skincare brand. This is OLEHENRIKSEN. This is a line that has gotten along pretty well with my skin as well, so it was tough to pick 2, but I do have 2 favorites here. So the first one is the OLEHENRIKSEN Power Peel. This is an amazing 3-step mask, you guys. The first step is a polish. This is the Almond Polish Facial Scrub. It is nice and lightweight, and it certainly isn't too scratchy or anything. Keep in mind, this power peel is not meant to be used every day. I believe it's once, twice a week max, but for me, I just use the polish to start, then you use the peel, which is the lemon facial peel. It's lovely, and then you go in with the chamomile comfort mask, and this trio is so good. Like, I feel like they sell it in a pack, so when you buy it at Sephora, it doesn't just come with one, it comes with a few, but this one is super nice. My skin always feels like a baby's butt. It's so nice and smooth. I love it. Now next, let's talk about another mask. I feel like he has some standout masks in his line. So 2 of his masks made my top 2. The second one is the Cold Plunge Pore Mask, and this one is a gorgeous like greeny blue color. It's so nice. I'll actually be able to show you because it is open. So that's the color of the mask here. This is probably my third or fourth tube of this. It's so lovely. It's great for tightening up your pores and removing that excess oil, but not stripping. So I am a normal skin type. I do feel like if something is too much, I can feel it in my skin. It's just too dried, but this one doesn't do that. It's really nice, especially in the bath, because you've got the steam from the water and it helps to make that mask just like extra great. I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but this is so good. Okay, so now bottom two from Ole Henriksen. I literally have nothing to share with this. I'm trying to think, and there's literally no product that I have tried that has not been a winner. So, oh my gosh, this is a good start, guys. I promise I have some bottom twos coming up in other brands. Next, let's talk about MAC. So I feel like MAC is a brand that was super popular on YouTube and isn't really anymore, but there are some great products in here. And if you guys know me and my preferences, I think you'll probably get one of the two that I will pick. And that is, of course, the MAC Fix Plus. So here I have two of their summer scents. They're in the minis. And I actually did pick these up at Sephora Canada, but now they're gone. So I don't know what happened, but I do see them at Ulta. So if you do have an Ulta near you, you can go check them out there. This one is the watermelon one. This one is the cucumber. I do have a full size of the original formula as well that's unscented. This is lovely for setting the makeup, for prepping the skin. It gives that nice hydration feeling. And I know it's not meant to be a setting spray. It's meant to be more of like a prep and prime kind of product. But I think a lot of people use it as setting spray now. It just does a great job of hydrating the skin and keeping the makeup looking really nice. So this is definitely a standout product from MAC. Next, let's talk about my second top favorite from MAC. And you guys might be surprised by this, but there are a lot of other products that have been great winners for me, but just not like at the top favorite. So it's actually really hard to pick the top favorite, but this palette is so nice and so well done that I figured like this would have to be one of my top favorites. This is the Hyper Real Glow from MAC. It is 3 highlighters, and as you can see, mine is so used. It is so well loved. It is amazing. Obviously the top 2, or the 2 on the left and the center here, are more used than the one on the right, because I use that one more so for like eyeshadow and stuff. It's much too deep for a highlight for me. But I love this. This golden trio has got to be my favorite because I do have the rose gold one, and they have made other like shade trios since, but this is just lovely. If I find it, I will definitely link it in the description box for you because this one is so pretty. I mean, you can't beat the glow of this. It's so natural, but like you can make it blinding if you want and keep it subtle if you want. It's so versatile. Definitely one of my favorites. Now let's talk about the bottom 2 from MAC, and there are some clear bottom 2 for me with this brand. The first one is the Studio Fix Foundation. This is one that I feel like is a very unpopular opinion. Now for me, I've tried that foundation multiple times in my years of loving makeup, and every single time it has oxidized like so badly on my skin that I look literally like an Oompa Loompa. It is way too orangey. There's nothing I can do about it. I've tried it with multiple powders. I've tried with different primers, by itself, without a primer, without a powder. It just goes crazy weird on my skin. So something is reacting weird with that product. And it also is a little bit cakey on me anyway. That's just kind of my preference. I believe it's a full coverage product, so maybe it's just because I don't really like full coverage. That could be it. But the oxidizing is the biggest factor, so that unfortunately, not a good winner for me. Next are the Powder Kiss lipsticks. So you guys, I have a love-hate with this product. I love how it looks on the lips. I love the feeling of them. The powderiness is super nice, very different, but it smells so bad. I have tried so hard to dry that thing out because it smells like bad, like tires almost. It smells rubbery. It's like a vanilla with a bit of rubberness to it. It's the weirdest smell ever. And when I did talk about these first on my channel, there were a few of you that said that you kind of had the same scent, and others for different shades maybe didn't have that scent. So I'm jealous because I love the scent of the one that I have. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Oh, it still stinks. Okay, so this is the shade Sultry Mauve. It's so nice, you guys. Oh, it's such a shame. I'm going to show you. Here we go. So this is the shade here. It's so beautiful. I love it. It's like a gorgeous, like mauve-y pink, like just, I love it, but the scent I can't get past. Next, let's talk about Tarte. So Tarte is a brand I feel like I have so much from. It was incredibly difficult to pick out top 2 for this because there's so many that are so great from their line. But I have 2 winners here that I have decided are my favorites. So the first one is actually, unfortunately, a limited edition palette. That's not available anymore, so I'm really sorry, but this is the Tarte and Aspyn Ovard palette. So this to me is one of my favorite palettes from them. It's so lovely. Like, it's the consistent Amazonian clay formula, but the palette is nice and luxe. It's rose gold, reflective, gorgeous. It has a gorgeous blush and highlight in there, and the colors are perfect for every day. So this is one obviously no longer available, but it is so pretty. It's definitely one of my clear winners. Now, if you are not one of the lucky ones that has the Tarte and Aspyn palette, I do think that it's basically the Amazonian clay eyeshadow formula that is the top one of 2 products from this line. So this is another one. This is actually their newest palette, the Unleashed palette. It doesn't have the same shades, obviously, as the Aspyn, but the formula is consistent in here, and you do have the pops of color plus some really nice neutral shades as well. So it's not a similar palette at all, but if you're after a Amazonian clay formula palette that is consistent, this is a great one. The Maneater palette is a great one. The Tartelette palettes are great as well. All right, so the second product from Tarte that I would say has made my top 2 is actually the Rainforest of the Sea lipsticks. As you can see, I already do have 3 of them, and I did make another order because they were recently on sale at Sephora for I think 50% off, which is awesome. The formula of these are just creamy, like everyday colors. They're very easy to wear and to use. Here are the shades here, so I'm going to show you from left to right. We have Colada, then we have Set Sail, then we have Beach Babe. So those are the 3, and like I said, I have ordered more. So I will show you those other ones once they come in, but really nice and opaque, like the pigmentation is there. These are some great lipsticks from them. Now let's talk about the bottom 2 things. The first one is the Flamingo brush set. I believe you can still get this, and you guys, they're cute, but they are not practical. The handle of them is like a cheap plastic packaging, but the biggest thing is the fact that they are so top heavy because of the shape of the brushes. They are super top heavy, very difficult to use, and the brushes themselves aren't even that great anyway. So that's definitely a set where I'm like, no, why did they even create that? It's definitely a miss. And the other one was actually their first round of the Shape Tape foundation. Oh, when they had the matte and the hydrating formulation, this was back last year in January sometime, and there was that whole issue with shade range. Even though their shade range was garbage, and I still think that was like one of the worst things they ever could have done, I do think that the products themselves were brutal. They were terrible. The mattifying one oxidized like crazy, so did the hydrating one. I felt like the mattifying one was too drying, the hydrating one was too dewy. It just didn't work out for me, either formulation. They were both pretty bad. Next, let's talk about Becca, and I do have 2 clear winners, you guys, although their highlighters are some of my favorite highlighters of all time. The Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed powders are lovely, but to be honest, they're kind of like number 3 in this kind of situation of picking out my top 2 from the brand, because this palette has been my all-time favorite from this brand. And it is the Becca, Khloe, and Malika palette. This is the one that is the Khloe edition. And you guys, I have been loving on this one. The highlight in here is basically depressed. I don't know if you can see that, but there's actually a hole in the center of it. This blush is my favorite, and this one is more of a deeper one for like a bit more of a deeper look. This bronzer is amazing. Like, I feel like I've just been using this nonstop. It is the highlight I'm wearing today, and I love it. It's such a nice, like, flattering highlight. They did a great job with this, you guys. This one also is recently on sale, so hopefully you picked it up if you didn't get it initially. Now let's talk about my second favorite that's actually been kind of like a new favorite, sort of, but it's been out for a little while now. And these are the Ultimate Lipstick Love lipsticks from Becca. So I do have 3 of them. And I'm going to show you the swatches of these because this has got to be one of the creamiest formulas I think I've ever used. So richly pigmented. Okay, so from left to right, we have Yours Truly Tulip and Sugar. So as you can see, Sugar is much more of a cool tone nude. We then have Tulip, which is a gorgeous like spring pink. And yours truly on the left is actually more of like a neutral nude, but all are lovely, you guys. Okay, now the bottom two, okay. I was thinking about the bottom two from this brand, and the first thing that came to my mind was the body oil that they collabed with Chrissy Teigen. I did do a video on that whole collaboration, and oh my word, it was not good. I mean, definitely sticky and not really like glowy like how they said. It was just greasy kind of. I felt like I had to put a lot on to get kind of the glowiness factor, and just was a real mess. So that was something that I really didn't like, and I don't think it's available anymore, so that's kind of a good thing. The second product that is definitely on the bottom and a real miss from Becca was the Skin Love Foundation. I did do a review on this. I have since returned it, and this is one that as I was applying it, it was drying so quick, like setting so fast that I couldn't move it on my skin. And I like when a foundation will give me some give. Like, I don't want it to set so fast that I can't move it around and blend it in and build it up and that kind of thing and just kind of manipulate it a little bit. It was drying so quick, and then once it did dry, it kind of emphasized wrinkles and dried down. It was more of a drier formula for sure. It wasn't a good match. I do think if you have oilier skin, maybe you'll like it more, but that was definitely a no-go. Okay, let's talk about Benefit. The first thing I have to tell you about, of course, is one of their brow products. This has been a new love for me. I have really loved the Brow Wiz from Anastasia, but I do love the Precisely My Brow now. This one is so lovely. This is the product here. It's so cute. This is one of my backups. I have one in my bathroom that I'm currently using. The shade that I have is 3.5, and it's lovely. It's a gorgeous, precise tip. And then on the other side of it, we have a spoolie, so I love that. Now, as you can see, I don't have a large brow. My brows are thinner and they're smaller, I guess, so the Precisely My Brow is my favorite. Now let's go to the bottom product kind of by Benefit just for a quick sec, and that is the Goof Proof one. And the reason I'm talking about it now is because this is, I think, the same formula, if not really, really close, but the Goof Proof one is just too big for my brow. So not that it's a bad product at all, but it's a miss for me because it's too big. So when I'm using the Goof Proof one, I feel like it just makes my eyebrows look more blocky and not natural, just because of the shape of the pencil. That's literally the only reason. Okay, so this next top product, it was kind of like a tie, because I really do love the Hello Happy foundation. That's a lovely one. Like the soft blur foundation is definitely up there, but I did find that this highlight was my fave. This is from the Cheek Leaders palette, and this highlight in here is called Cookie. So this is a lovely highlight, you guys. It's the one in the center. Good news is that they are releasing Cookie as a single, which is awesome. So you will be able to purchase that soon. I don't have any date about it yet, but I did hear about that. So that's awesome because this palette, I believe, sold out so quick because of Cookie. Everybody seemed to love it. My hand is a little bit more tan still, but it's a gorgeous highlight. So it kind of showing up a little bit frosty here, and it kind of is when built up, but it is so beautiful. Like, it's just very, very unique, very smooth on the skin. It does not emphasize texture. It's just like that gorgeous glow. Okay, so we already talked about Goof Proof being on the bottom and why that is. Now let's talk about the push-up eyeliner. Oh, I have bad memories about that one. So this product is actually eyeliner that is in a pen, and the reason why I have such bad memories about it is because of the packaging alone. For me, when I tried to twist up the product to get the product out, sometimes it wasn't coming out at all, sometimes it was coming out too fast, it was like overflowing and making a big mess. It just is like a terrible package for the product. So that's honestly why it was such a big mess, because of just the fact that it was very, very hard to use. Next, let's talk about NARS. So NARS has been one of my favorites for a while as well. I do have two clear favorites, although there are some products that are kind of like still faves, but not like the top two. So definitely the top two are the Velvet Lip Glides. This is so lovely, you guys. I feel like this is a formula that needs to be definitely explored. And I have two of these as well, so I'm gonna swatch them for you. They're so, so nice. Like, I really want more of them now that I think of it. I keep looking at them like, oh yeah, I do need more of those. This first one here is stripped and the second one is bound. And as you can see, this is them on the hand here. So they are glossy, but not quite like a gloss. They're very pigmented. They are like moussey texture. They're so, so pretty. When I thought about the next top favorite, I was thinking this honestly came to my mind right away. So I hope this is still available. I don't know for sure. This is the NARS Skin Deep palette. So this to me is a gorgeous everyday palette. The formula of this is consistent across the board. Their cheek palettes are like a close second for sure. Those are lovely. But oh, I just love this. Like, this is such a good palette. Now let's talk about the misses, and we do have one that also might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, and that is the Natural Radiant Foundation from them. This one for me was way too much on my skin. It just felt heavy, it felt cakey, it like emphasized my wrinkles, and I was just like it made me look older. Let's put it that way. I don't want to look older than I am, and I do have some minor like wrinkles underneath my eyes starting to form, and it just made them look really bad. The next thing is actually from last year as well, and this was their Orgasm Illuminating Powder. This is one that I did review on my channel, and I have since returned it as well. But this is one that was supposed to be like an orgasm colored highlight, and the Orgasm is their blush color that they're famous for. But when I found that I was trying to get the glow on the cheek, it was obviously picking up more of that pink pigment underneath as well. So for me and my light skin, it just wasn't a good match. I do think it'll be a better match for deeper skin tones because that'll just look beautiful. But for me and my lighter skin, it was just getting way streaky as I was trying to get more of the glowness from the powder. This next brand is DRYBAR, and it's one of my favorite hair brands. And I do have a very clear top product, and this is the DRYBAR Detox Dry Shampoo. This, you guys, is lovely. It is very nicely scented. Oh, I don't know how to describe it. It's very florally perfumey. It's definitely a strong enough perfume smell that if you are aversive to scent, you won't like this, but I do think they have an unscented version now. This one is super nice. It helps keep my hair like fresher, longer, and especially if I want to go from like working out to going and doing more errands for my day, or if I want to just extend my hair so I don't have to wash it all the time, this is a great one. So it's been very, very lovely for this. I love it. Now kind of going and zipping forward to the bottom two from DRYBAR. The first one is this version of this, but in the mousse or the whipped form. They do have like a detox whipped version of the dry shampoo, and it's just a mess, you guys. It's just not very good at all. I even found that the littlest amount made my hair look greasy, and I was just like, I can't get this to work for the life of me. This like whipped version just like wasn't a good fit at all. So this is definitely on the top. The whipped version, definitely on the bottom. Now let's talk about the second product that is in my top two from them. This is the Velvet Hammer, and this is a hydrating cream. I love this, you guys, because it is specifically for thick and coarse hair, which I do have thicker hair. So I love to kind of put this on, especially like a little bit to kind of smooth out my ends. I do that sometimes, but I mostly use this when I curl my hair, and I just run this product lightly kind of through my fingers and then through my curls. And it really helps to keep everything nice and hydrated, especially the ends, because you've already like applied so much heat to the ends and you don't want them to split and just look kind of gross. Now let's get to the second bottom two product from DRYBAR. This is the double pint like roller brush or hair brush. You guys, this is like 50 bucks. And I still have it in my collection because I'm trying to make it work. Actually, that's really why. But these are incredibly sharp and they're like very plasticky. This is also like plastic. It's not like the best quality. It's a little bit top heavy versus the handle. I feel like the handle should have had a little bit more weight on the bottom, because when you do use it, I feel like your hand cramps up. So obviously like it's just not like weighted equal across the board. This is unfortunately a miss, but if you have any ideas about how to make this work, because yes, it's been like a really disappointing product, but because of the fact that I've spent so much money on it and it was like a couple years ago now, I can't return it. So I want to see if I can make it work. Like I desperately want to have some kind of semblance of not wasting my money on this thing. Okay, now let's talk about Bite Beauty. Bite is one of my favorite lip product lines, you guys. I do have two clear favorites and one that's like, no. The first one is the Bite Beauty French Press Lip Gloss. This is in the shade Dirty Chai, and this is a lovely gloss, you guys. One of my favorites. It always has been a favorite ever since I picked it up. It's got enough pigment that it just like really gives your lips that beautiful tint. You can leave it kind of subtly, or you can really like put a whole bunch of layers on it to kind of amplify the pigment. It's a gorgeous color. I do have it on my lips right now actually as well. The packaging is really lovely and luxe. They have a lot of other ones that are like kind of coffee related scents, and this one smells like coffee as well. Like, it's just a win-win across the board. Now let's talk about the second top product from Bite, and that is their Amuse Bouche lipsticks. I do have quite a few here, so I have 3 right in front of me, and I love this formula as well. So Amuse Bouche is not as creamy, for instance, as the Ultimate Lipstick Love, but it's got enough creaminess to it that it's not pulling at your lips when you apply it. So here are the shades here. These are the ones I have from Bite. The first one is Fig. The second one is Verbena. The third one is Pepper. As you can see, that's like one swipe, you guys. It was so much pigment right away. These ones tend to last a little bit longer on the lips versus the Becca and the Tarte ones that I had mentioned earlier, just because they're not as creamy. Now let's get to the bottom 2 products. The first one is the new formulated Agave lip balm. I did talk about this already on my channel and how this disappointed me a bit. The previous formula wasn't like this, but this is incredibly thicker than that. I've been using it up because I feel like it's not terrible enough to return, but it's definitely something I won't repurchase. Now, when I was thinking about a second product, I literally could not think of anything else. Everything else from Bite that I've tried, I've either really liked or just liked somewhat, but it hasn't been like a disappointing product or anything except for that Agave lip balm. So I would say there's only just one product from this line that makes the bottom. Okay, the last brand I want to talk about today is actually Jo Malone London. They're one of my favorite fragrance brands, and I have smelled quite a few from them, so I wanted to include them in my favorite brands video. When I was thinking about the top 2, you guys, it was so hard. I have like 4 that I think are my favorites, so I will share the top 2 and then I'll show you the runners up as well. So the top 2 are definitely more of like a fruity floral type fragrance. So that's typically my absolute favorite type of smell. The first one is the Nectarine Blossom and Honey. I only have the travel size right now because I'm out of my other sizes, but this, you guys, is so nice. It's a perfect like fruity floral with a little bit of a sweet undertone. Perfect for summer. I love this one. And then I would say the top one next to that is this one. This is Wild Bluebell, and it has like that fresh floral kind ofness to it. So the bluebell flower is definitely in there, but it has some kind of like, oh, I don't know, it's just perfectly balanced. Like, I love these 2. They're so, so good, perfect for summer. These 2 are the top, even though that's hard to say, but the runners up are definitely the Wood Sage and Sea Salt one. This one is also a fresh smell. I have this one on today. It does have that freshness, but it has a tinge of like a spice undertone because of the sage and sea saltness to it, I guess. It is so good. So I do have a full size of this one. And then my second runner up is actually Blackberry and Bay, which is lovely. I also love Mimosa and Cardamom too. So, oh my goodness. Anyway, it's really hard. Now I want to talk about the bottom fragrances from this line, and it has nothing to do with the quality of fragrance. It's simply the type of fragrance that it is, because they're just not my favorite ones. And both of these are pretty heavy, they're pretty spicy, they're warm, and they're just not my style. The first one is the Pomegranate Noir one. This one is super strong, you guys. And the second one is the English Oak and Red Currant one, and that one is also very woodsy, heavy, spicy, that kind of thing. So if that's more your style, I think those are some great ones to check out. But for me, they make the bottom because they're just simply not my preference. Anyways, guys, that is it for my bottom 2, top 2 products from my favorite brands video. And it is in collaboration, like I said, with my friend Mel. So definitely check out her channel and her video. It will also be live today. I can't wait to watch it myself. I'm so excited to see what she's picked out. And until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
But somewhere there's a light inside of us.